Guys, welcome back. It is a shocking day out there today. I'm sure you can hear the rain, but I've just a cure for you. It's a cracking book by Shanahan. It's called Deep Nutrition. It is the first book I ever read on the subject of nutrition. I came across it on Amazon a couple of years back, and yeah, it's probably to date the best I've read at the same time, and really would recommend to anyone. I came across it at a time when I have IBS. If you caught a video I shot there a couple of days ago, you'll have heard where I was up to. So I by that point I had kind of given up milk and bread and was still experiencing a few problems. So I looked a bit more into the subject, see if I could find what was wrong. And so I came across this book on Amazon. It had only been out about a year, so 2017, and the reviews for it so far were excellent, so I gave it a shot. Now, I don't have a copy to show you because the majority of the books I read are either on Kindle or on Audible. So I'll put a link, I'll write a more in-depth review on the blog on my website, which will be below. But I'll give you an overview of it now, and I'll say a picture of it will be there so you know which book you're looking for. But yeah, I highly recommend. I think it's about £10 on Amazon now. So yeah, as I got at a time when I was struggling big time, had a lot of pain, and this went a big way to fixing that. It's not your typical diet book. It's not a fad book, and it's not one of these 10 weeks to a six pack or anything like that at all. I'm not really a big fan of the term diet, but this book doesn't use that word diet as you might think. You know, a lot of people will think of the word diet as quick fix or an extreme where you're eating one type of food or you're taking shakes for 10 weeks and then you're ballooning back up again after, but it's not. This is really a strategy or a lifestyle, a way of living. It's a longer term vision. So yeah, the way the word diet used in this respect is much different to your typical diet book. The book itself then, you've got three parts to it. Four, I suppose. The intro is going through the author's history and kind of where she's coming from, and it's really good. I'll not ruin anything in the book for you. And then you've got three parts. So the first part is the history of our diet, humans, you know, what our ancestors were eating. The second part will go into what your modern Western diet is. And then the third part will actually go into the deep nutrition diet itself. And throughout the whole book, it is packed with research, scientific studies. She'll compare studies, statistics, anecdotes, stories. Everything is very in depth, but what I will say, it's easy to read. So, I mean, I found no problem with it. And looking through the reviews, it seems to be fairly easy to pick up for everyone else. It's very in depth. So just bear that in mind. It is a big read, but it's something I'd recommend to everyone. So going into the first part of the book, starting off with the history, it goes into what our ancestors ate on like a daily basis, what their diet was, and comes to a conclusion pretty much that, you know, what they were eating is much healthier than what we're eating now. I'll say the next chapter will go into more on what foods we've switched to, but basically about 40-50 years ago, the media was pushing the fact that, you know, a traditional diet is boring, and kind of turned food into more of they kind of flipped on its head. So we're not really looking at food as food anymore. It's been seen as chemistry. And if you look at the back of a box of anything you find in the supermarket, you'll see about 100 ingredients with a load of numbers and names that don't really have any association to food. And it really has. Everything's so processed now, and it doesn't really bear much resemblance to what you would associate with food, which is just kind of simple cooking ingredients. So yeah, it shows how we've come so far away from what we're used to. It then kind of progresses on to the fact that what we're eating is having a massive impact on our genes, and with that, the link to diseases. So it completely goes against one of the kind of normal thinking, that is, diseases can just happen at random, or they do always just happen at random. So, you know, you can live a healthy life, but you can have a disease at any moment. This book leans more on the side that what you eat will 99% chance determine what if you get a disease, you know, and it's a little bit controversial because I think some people don't like the idea that their food's impacting them that greatly. They prefer to think, you know, I can eat whatever I want because who knows, I might get a disease, I might not. Whereas this makes you more accountable. I think some people maybe don't like the sound of that, but it's very hard to argue with the statistics. So yeah, it made a lot of sense to me, and I quite like where she came from with that. And towards the end of that chapter, or towards the end of the first part of the book, there's a section on nutrition for children. Again, she says that we used to be, focus a lot more on good nutrition for kids, and there's an excellent bit there for any like future mums out there. The impact of what you're eating now, or in the lead up to pregnancy and while you're pregnant, the impact on your kids is massive. It impacts their brains, their susceptibility to kind of diseases, even their looks, symmetry, all that. So brilliant bit of the book there. And again, it's something a bit different that you wouldn't expect maybe to find in a book, but again, the evidence backing up what she says is it's pretty compelling. So that's the first chapter. Very good intro, very thick and heavy on the research, but I say very readable and entertaining at the same time as eye opening. The second part of the book was the massive eye opener for me, and the one I took the most from. Made huge impact on my life. So it was the one looking at our modern diet, in particular fats, oils, and sugars. Now, the part on fat, she pretty much dispels the whole idea that saturated fats and cholesterol are bad, and she identifies the fat that is bad and why you want to get rid of it. Looking at oils, again, identifies that which oils are bad, which are good. Surprise, surprise, the bad ones are the ones that are cheap, the ones that are being pushed by all the kind of research coming out. And it's fascinating because you learn, there's so many examples of this, but this research that is coming out is being backed by the people that are producing the stuff. So it is crazy to think that stuff like this is happening, but it's true. Again, with the sugar, look on the back of a box of something in the supermarket, even a box of cereal, crisps, anything. You'll see sugar and everything. You'll see these vegetable oil in them, and it's because they're cheap, and you can make a bigger profit. That's what it comes down to. Health doesn't really matter if a profit can be made. So it was absolutely shocking. Once I read that, straight away into my cupboards, ripping anything out that had them in it. And within days, the inflammation went down and I was feeling far better. And it is one of those books where you'll go to the supermarket after reading a chapter and you'll start looking for all these things and your mind will be blown. It really is shocking. So let's say that chapter or section of the book, definitely the most impactful on me. The third part then goes into deep nutrition. So this is what the book is promoting, kind of what the 4 pillars of health should be. Again, I'll not spoil it, but again, a good case is made for each of them, and it does focus around kind of traditional dietary habits. And in that, there's a list of food, there's meals that fit, and there's an excellent section on macronutrients for anyone who isn't too familiar with them. Goes through thoroughly, what carbs do, protein, fats, recommended amounts. I'm trying to think what else is in there. Even a calculator suggesting what would fit for your needs. So that was kind of surprised. Didn't expect to have that in there, but a very welcome addition. And yeah, a good chapter as well. Definitely took a few of the meals on board and implemented the whole food approach. So lowering the carbs down, upping the fats, upping the protein, good quality meat, getting rid of processed food. So that was an excellent part of the book as well. So overall, the impact on myself, got rid of all those processed, nasty things you find in a lot of food, switched to fresh food, things that are in the kind of the fridge section as opposed to the boxed and tinned and packaged areas. And I'd say far more energy, healthier, clearer head, inflammation's gone down, and although it costs a little bit extra, it's definitely worth it, in my opinion at least. And it's a book I would recommend to anyone. There's so much practical advice in there, and I think more people need to know about it. because there's so many books out there promoting fad diets and high carbohydrates and people linking up their supplements to it, whereas this is just, it's a raw book. There's nothing really to be gained. The author's putting out information that the big kind of companies don't want you to know. So I would recommend it to anyone, and anyone who I have recommended to it has absolutely loved it and has made changes, and they've seen a massive difference in their life. So highly recommend. There's an in-depth review on the website. I'll put a link in there for the book itself, but do check it out, and I'll speak to you again. Thanks.